What did that kid in your school do that will never leave your mind? When I was in high school, a kid was masturbating in one of the stalls in the bathroom. Then another kid went in the bathroom and recorded him from the next stall over. Video went around, and the kid that recorded it got in legal trouble because the kid masturbating was a minor. The conversation turned to farts amongst the 7th grade girls. The new girl, short and squat, and as of yet silent, shook her head and stated, "I ain't never pooted in my whole life." It echoes in my head regularly to this day. I also say it whenever I'm accused of farting, because it is hilarious. In 8th grade I was eating lunch across from this very strange kid. I remember him picking up his milk with both hands and squeezing it as hard as he could. Then it popped and got all over him, and his reaction was a disappointed look on his face followed by "Oh man." This was in elementary school. He got caught stealing from the teacher's assortment of goodies that she gave away once a week to students. She chose students randomly, based on a raffle system, where you had more tickets if you were behaved. After a huge mess of him crying and trying to say it wasn't him, he asked to be excused to the bathroom, where he was gone for a solid 30 minutes. The teacher got concerned, and upon checking the bathroom sign-out sheet we discovered he wrote for the sign in time never coming back. So one of us went to check the bathroom and he wasn't there. The teacher tells the principal what happened, and the police is called in. Helicopter was flying by and a couple cars. They eventually found him walking home. Edit. Just remembered another gem. In 5th grade the one weird kid brought in a shoebox for no apparent reason. He went around claiming it was a uranium bomb. Although we knew that it was pure bullshit, the teacher sent him to the principal's office and the dude got in major trouble for a bomb threat. I was in art class and this kid goes, "Hey, check this out," sticks his middle finger down his throat and throws up all over the table. Vertical bar. 8th grade sex ed. Teacher brought in a rubber dildo in packaging to pass around the class. Dildo gets to class, clown kid. He wobbles the dildo back and forth, then sniffs it and asks the teacher why it smells fishy. Needless to say, never seen a kid run out of class so quick. Used an Apple remote 2009 times to continually play the "Sucking on My Titties" song on our history teacher's computer. She would walk away and the beat would start. She would run to the computer and he would pause it. She would walk away and he would hit play. Went on for like 20 minutes until she unplugged the computer. Brought a crossbowing and shot another student with it because the kid gave the police a statement about him stalking girls. He was very freaked up. In high school there was this kid who wouldn't have a conversation with anyone. Spent 4 years with the dude in the same class, and never have I seen him say more than "okay, sure, bye," even though everyone tried talking to him to cheer him up or thought something was wrong, or he was just shy. He would just sit on his desk all day and look right in front of him, unless disturbed, until one day we had a big school fight. Those happen a lot in my country. No one expected him to show up, since he wasn't friendly with any of us, but dude showed up and proceeded to beat up 5 to 6 guys on his own like a freaking wrecking ball in a construction site. Shit looked like one of those cheesy martial arts movies. After the fight he came back, grabbed his stuff, said bye like it was nothing, and just fricked off. I still suspect to this day he was a robot. A science teacher in my school was cool if a little weird, not in a pedophile type way. His room was always open for the kids to hang out in. He spent a lot, or his own time and I suspect money, managing an animal club which the kids were responsible for looking after. We had hundreds of different animals, from hissing sea cockroaches to snakes to a 3-foot iguana, mice to chipmunks to chinchillas. He also liked to tell cool stories about his own life, such as the pigs that he kept, rasher and bacon, his caving experiences, sailing experiences, etc. He would spend his own time helping students that were struggling and give them extra tutoring if warranted. However, he never tolerated laziness or attitudes and would call out students that couldn't be bothered, which is where this kid comes in. This kid made a comic book depicting the science teacher raping the students, male and female, while saying his little catchphrases. It was found and brought to said science teacher's attention. A meeting happened with the senior management in the school where they brought the kid's mom and the teacher in. This 6-foot massive teacher, which a huge ginger beard, cried and said he had never experienced anything like it in his life before now. Even the rest of us hated this kid for what happened, and at that age we were really immature. In middle school, there was this girl whose long hair kept spilling onto my desk. I asked for her to move her seat or her hair, and she turned around and freaking hissed at me. Saved his piss for a whole week or month, I forgot, and then sprayed it on all the handrails at school. Eventually he was ratted out by someone, and the VP came to get him in my homeroom class and confronted him and our teacher about the accusations. He said it was just apple juice, and he was just joking about it, and right when the teacher went to sniff and take a sip from the bottle he yells, alright, it's piss. Stole around a dozen textbooks, brought them into the boys' washroom, and burned them, setting the whole washroom on fire. Edit, high school. A 10th grade girl got arrested coming out of school one day when I was a senior. Nobody really knew why. Then a few weeks later it turns out she was a pimp and was pimping out other high school girls to adult M. Kid was caught furiously violating himself in the bathroom in 6th grade and gained the nickname Spanky until HS graduation. He did a lot of strange things, but the one I'll never forget is he stuck his pinky in a pencil sharpener that year and turned the crank as hard as he could. Went around showing other students pictures from a murder and laughing while showing them. Then hung a Freddy Krueger mask on his locker with a note complaining about not getting attention. Kid in 1st grade with me. We had the 6th graders come and read harder level books with us, reading buddies as they were called. We had a kid named Mattia who was inspired by his reading buddy. His buddy dared him to shove a rock up his nose. Mattia did, then proceeded to tell the teacher and head to the nurse. Nurse just got it stuck farther and had to be sent home. No idea what happened after. If he had the doctor get it or sneezed it out. Same kid also wore a pumpkin costume, fell over and couldn't get up. Looked like the scene in A Christmas Story where Alfie's brother falls in the snow with all his coats on. I went to Catholic school, and during mass this girl sitting next to me didn't fully get up, but just sort of squatted and started peeing in the pew next to me. Girls wore skirts as part of their uniform. She left the school shortly after. Also had a kid who would get a nice big ball of spit in his mouth then let it drop out of his mouth into his shirt pocket. He said he was saving it for later. Catholic school is weird, folks. This kid in my computer literacy class in high school would talk to me nearly every day about his imaginary dragon girlfriend and how beautiful she was. He peed on some random girl's head when she was at her locker. This was in like 7th grade or so. Pretty sure he got detention for like a week, but his social detention lasted much longer. In high school, a guy I knew, but never really hung out with, just had a class together, comes up to me during lunch holding the largest set of mortar fireworks I have ever seen. He said, "Watch this," begins walking towards the stairwell in trance. As soon as he disappeared behind through the doorway, go boom. Loads of colored explosions shoot out. Everyone's freaking out, running around. First day of high school UK, age 11. Kid found a pair of badly soiled boxer shorts in an outdoor bin that had clearly been there all summer. Him talking, caked in a 1/4 inch layer of dried shoot. Proceeded to put them on his head and start chasing groups of people around the playground. Not the best first impression to make when starting a new school. The poor guy never really pulled himself out of the social rut he dived headfirst into that day. Unzipped his pants with his teeth in the cafeteria, proving he could suck himself off. It was disturbing. He is now on the 6 offender list and looks 10x as creepy as he did back. Edit. My highest upvoted comment is about Brad from high school being gross. Lovely. In my first year of university there was a kid who wore a dinosaur head covering / hat that had a cape attached to it and would walk around campus just staring at people. My friend asked him one day what his name was, and he replied with King Retta. Weird kid, haven't seen him since. Edit, spelling edit. Also, one day during Frosh week there was a movie being played on my university's equivalent of the quad. He showed up and pulled squat by people while just looking at them. There was also a kid who would ride a unicycle around campus. Threw a desk at a teacher, and it ended up hitting another student. There was a kid who carried knives around in his backpack, and was accused of raping a girl in his car at a park that isn't too far away from where I live. He was charged and got out on bail but was expelled. He got a job at a store also near my neighborhood and was caught for retail theft. Apparently his mom would come in and he would skip scanning some stuff. He had just moved to our school that year and every girl had a crush on him until this happened. What seemed to be his mother used to come in and spoon feed him in the middle of the yard while all the other kids played, but many watched. Some were assholes and said stuff. He was a completely able-bodied kid of about 9/10 years of age. You could see it in his eyes that it was killing him and that the whole thing was about her. Christ, I haven't thought about that in years. Looking back as adult, I feel disgusted. There was this kid at my school who would come into the boys' washroom and literally take a shoot in the urinal. One time I walked in on the kid squatting over the urinal and he immediately got up, washed his hands and said, "Dude, look, someone shoot at that urinal." He then walked out. I feel so bad for the janitor. Edit. Holy shoot, this blew up. Didn't expect this. A girl I went to high school with who seemed sweet, quiet and friendly. She was perfectly normal. She turned out to be a huge mess. One day, a few years later, she beat her 5-year-old stepdaughter to death for not cleaning her room. One day in 5th grade, a kid's mom brought cupcakes and ice cream for the class and we went outside for recess to eat them. The overweight kid, who I always tried to be nice to because I'm pretty sure she had shooty parents, ate too many of these cupcakes and threw up on the playground. But she proceeded to tell everyone she was fine and was alright to go play some more. Not even 5 minutes later, I'm standing by the door to the entrance to the school and I smell the most horrible smell and look over and, of course, it's the same kid standing next to me. She got real close and whispered to me, "I just shoot my pants." She told everyone who walked by before than that until the teacher called her mom to pick her up. Weirdest moment of my life because I'm not sure why she would tell everyone that. First day of 1st grade, a kid shoved a pencil through his own hand and then just calmly told the teacher and got escorted out of the room. He never came back. That kid in our German class was arguing with the teacher about how he doesn't want to study anymore. Didn't hear the whole conversation, but one brilliant quote I heard loosely translates to, "I'm a god, I can delete you." We were 14 at the time. This guy would just combine all of his food at lunch, including the drink, into a weird soup and eat it like that, no matter what we were eating. Man. So this kid was a strange one. Maybe something was up with him, but I don't know. He really liked Slipknot. Anyway, one day he swore he was a Wiccan. We used to have Smash Bro tournaments and invite kids over to play at a friend's and he showed up saying he was able to change his eye color. He closed his eyes to concentrate and he opened them saying they changed. They didn't. He said they became a lighter shade. He tried to show me how to create fireballs and had this book of different wolf pictures and tried to determine what my wolf form was. He wasn't a bad kid, just weird, so we dealt with it until the incident. He was really into the Wiccan stuff, so 2 of my friends decided to frig with him. I guess you can say they were metalheads and they had that look. Anyway, they told me they went up to him one day and revealed themselves as demons. One of them, let's call him Vince, said he reached out to him from down the hallway and said, "Your soul is mine," and made gestures like he pulled his soul out of his body and buried into in the floor. So the kid freaks the frick out and begs for his soul back, and my friends leave thinking the dumb prank was over. Later that day, I get a knock on my door and it's the kid. He has a pair of those sharp metal scissors in his hands and he looks frantic. He is aggressive and tells me that he needs to find Vince. He needs to kill Vince and get his soul back. I'm pretty shocked, so I tell him that I don't know where Vince is, and the kid is reluctant to believe me because he has seen me with them. He asked me if I knew they were demons, and I tell them I didn't know. Anyway, I pretty much shut the door on him, and he leaves hysterical. Supposedly, he was running around trying to find Vince to murder him and retrieve his soul, but this kid was a pretty big kid, so someone saw him running around in the streets with scissors. We don't know what happened to him. Edit. Obviously, as an adult looking back, it was a fricked up situation for the kid. No one expected such an episode, and back th I do hope he is doing alright now. However, it was still weird as hell. He walked around in black extra wide Janko bondage pants with a ripped up fishnet shirt and a black wife beater, cat ears, and a hot pink cat collar that his girlfriend attached Ellie Shuto and led him around within the hallway. He also had black emo hair and wore lots of eyeliner. That dude was living his life with his pet play submissive fantasy. Of course everyone teased the shoot out of him for it, but he gave zero fricks. You do you emo cat boy.